Well, here we are again in this fading light, so I'll try to be brief. I've had a very exhilarating Saturday. It's quite an exhilarating Saturday. I got quite so much done. I made a list, and now I'm kind of done with that. So today, well, since the Death on the Nile movie just came out, I saw it back on Wednesday. I know it was just like rather bizarre. They said it would be open Friday, but it was there Wednesday. Don't ask me how. Of course, there were leaks and early releases. Just ask anybody who was a fan of Ladybug season 4. The episode second to the last uh, um, risks just dropped and off of lag. It's some L word over in Europe, I believe. It was leaked on one of their platforms way early, like I don't know, like a month earlier or something like that. It was ridiculous. We had like two more episodes, I think. One, if not two more episodes, supposed to come out before this episode. The second, the last episode comes out. So it was like, we're like, okay, we'll take that. So we were happy, shocked as all heck, but we were happy. So yeah, and it's actually a darn good episode. I hope they actually bother to change things up in the fifth season. Fifth or sixth season kind of make more sense until the end of the series, but fine, whatever. Um, which is what a lot of creators are aiming for. 6 seasons. Peaky Blinders, Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad, I think. Uh, but yes, but all that aside, today we'll be looking at and talking about the original Death on the Nile. Okay, there we go. Yeah, Death on the Nile. With, I'm not entirely sure which actor this is named, but he is supposed to be a stand in for the original TV movie series Hercule Poirot. Along with, I'm believing, an uncredited Peter Cushing. This says it's a Peter Ustavan, but that's not right. So what I know this is Peter Cushing, for crying out loud. I know who that is. Maybe he changed his name by this point. I don't know. Point is, he's there as a Hastings character. Hastings was his sidekick in the series. So this Poirot is actually written. Let me express that, written pretty well. It's not so much as an obsessive compulsive per se, but it's more of a sleuth. I do see the contrast between the two. Hercule Poirot in this TV series or movie series, like Columbo and Jessica Fletcher, um, like Murder She Wrote, is a lot more obsessive compulsive, like Monk. You know, so he's there's definitely a toned down basis in character exaggeration. So he's playing it a bit more everyday sleuth instead of an eccentric sleuth. Let's put it that way. Um, the story is pretty straightforward, same as the remake. It's who done it. All the suspects are here, and Poirot has to figure it out. Who's done what with where. You know, I forget all the names, but the lady comes in with her husband, who introduces us to her best friend, who they then fall in love and then get married. And on their honeymoon, the girl who introduced him, who was supposed to be getting married to the guy, is stalking them. Now, all this is played up more so in the remake. And they said, oh yeah, and children under 16 cannot be intermitted into this theater. And I kept thinking as to why that is. Maybe they're playing up the gore a little bit when you discover the bodies. No, it's the brace yourself. And I'm kidding you. There's no other word for it. The dance fucking. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, apparently, Dirty Dancing was not made back in the 80s, the 70s, or really even the 50s. No, no. Dancing so that it kind of more resembles doing it. Well, that goes way back. So yeah, there's a fair amount of that going on in the beginning, and then later on in the remake, there was a lot more of suggestive. Well, we're just about to do it before the Rock comes and smashes our heads in scene as well. Um, so aside from that, it's pretty much rated G. The murder mystery in this one has a lower body count in this movie. Um, it it's a lot more straightforward, honestly. There's no real. It kind of gives a bit of a sense of red herrings because there's so many people, and you gotta kind of parse it out that anybody could do it. That's what Hercule does, which was actually commented on in this newer film, where he says he accuses everyone. Yes, I know it is a problem. Uh, so yeah, Hercule does say, well, you could have done it too by doing A, B, and C. Like, you had the opportunity. You had the opportunity. Well, hell, even these people had the opportunity. Um, but yeah, it's quite good, and Peter Cushing does do a good Hastings. He's a good complementary to this Poirot, and honestly, to um, the the previous installment, Murder on the Orient Express, which is supposed to be this movie's prequel. There wasn't a Hastings on there. This is Poirot on vacation, so I'm guessing he's not with Hastings. Hastings is more of his business partner than he is travel companion, pretty much. So they so they substitute that with this Peter Cushing's character. Now in the remake, in the past two films, what they've done is given him some people to kind of work around, kind of gets crew a little bit. He has one to two people that are kind of there. He says, look at this. What do you think of that? So in both, you know, in both original and remake in Orient Express, he has these travel companions, and they're pretty good. It substitutes for Hastings. Now in this one's reboot on Death of a Nile that came out Friday, again, it's like he doesn't have a Hastings, but then he gets an old friend of his to be his friend, and the guy looks and sounds and acts an awful lot like Hastings. So I'm like, I guess this is our Hastings stand-in who isn't Hastings. His name's Book for whatever reason. So he goes along with Hercule. He gets caught up in this thing. And spoiler alert, yes, he gets killed off at the end. So he. One thing that the remake of Death on the Nile really drives home is the fact that it is a character arc for Poirot because we needed to have a stronger emotional connection to him because it's about love. It doesn't feel really necessary, honestly, but it's to show he's reached a better place. So we see his backstory in the war, why he has the mustache, which doesn't fit with the younger actor because the scar on his face is here. Then at the end of the film, it's here. So it just doesn't. Continuity wise, doesn't look right. Just saying, I think this was more of an afterthought and they didn't get it quite right, would be my thought. But anyway, um, having his character arc at the end shave his mustache and everything's different. In the beginning, he'll go into a hot jazz club, and everyone knows who he is. All the greatest stars are there. Then at the end, it's empty. I think that the hype has died down. He's not wearing the mustache. No one knows who he is. Everything's more somber and more subdued. So I think it's supposed to be a character arc for him also. That he's reached a better, more honest place. I'm guessing. I don't know. I think that's the way the movie presents it as any real sense of, well, I feel he is accomplished or has reached a better place. I don't know. How do tortured people with ADD who solve mysteries get better or get to a better place? The answer is they don't. So after seeing, and I am a big fan of Agatha Christie, I have not read the novels. I've watched the movies, obviously, and the TV series. Um, and what I could tell you is the original uh, Death on the Nile is pretty good. Brought better by by the actors, and the characters are well written. It's quite straightforward of a murder mystery. Um, One of the things the remake does really, really bad that the uh, that the original doesn't quite do is that it zooms in at the crucial moment. It's like, really, we needed a close up of that to show like, huh, remember that? Isn't that a little odd? To remember later. And then earlier in the movie, someone's all like, "Where's that thing? I'm missing that thing. Where's the thing?" And it's like, "Gee, movie, why don't you say it a little louder? I don't think some people in New York heard her." So it's like it kind of dumbs it down for the audience to say, "Remember that? Now remember that." Okay, maybe I might be a little bit more overthinking things, but I think having a character make a big deal of that for the audience could remember it a little bit easier. Granted, this was a problem I had with the a pup named Scooby Doo, is that they never really highlighted it that way. Of course, my mind was never really trying to focus on every single little detail, which could be excused and not say hand waved away, but explained in a proper way to excuse it as evidence of notice. This goes in the exact opposite direction. Where it's like, this is the clue, audience. This is the clue. Remember this for later. So it does that twice, and it's rather annoying. Uh, but everything else is, solved rather well by Hercule Poirot, rather well with his ADD, and he has that fantastic mind of the Glaces. Um, Again, your mileage may vary. Uh, but yeah, other than those two givens in the film, it's actually pretty dang good. Highly emotional. They really amped up the emotions and the feels and the necessities for these characters. Everyone is high emotion, emotional dynamics, and it's just like, yikes, there's so much going on here, but in a very pleasant way. Like Thanksgiving at someone's house where nobody likes everyone. It's like that. It's like, wow. Anyway, so the Agatha Christie collection of Peter Ustavon, Betty Davis, Mia Farrow, and Angela Lansbury. Yeah, whatever. So if you want to check it out, see the original or various originals. I'm pretty sure this is not its only incarnation. Um, I don't know if the other original TV series Poirot has that or not. They do have the Death on the Orient Express. Murder on the Orient Express. So Death on the Nile will probably be in there somewhere. I'm guessing. I haven't seen all of them. There's quite a few episodes, but yeah, definitely check it out. And if you're a murder mystery fan, this is probably up your alley. And if you like, check out the remake that came out this Friday and is premiering this weekend in theaters. Check it out, and yes, the dance effing is a little cringe, a little bit, because it's like, hey. But again, it was a different time. Oh, and it was called, back then, dancing, like I said, is called swingers, because you're swinging your arms around, you're swinging your lady around. So it's the broad motions. It was a bit more faster than the usual thing, like ballroom dancing. It's a bit more hyper, more kinetic, as we've seen throughout the decades. One gets more hyper and kinetic than the last. That's why people are so annoyed of it, because it's like, well, we weren't that fast when we were dancing. It's like, no, this is a new thing. This is called, you know. But anyway, yeah, it's a little slower, but still, hoy, it kind of makes you feel a little uncomfortable, honestly. So that's all I have to say about that. So maybe I'll get the series. I got most of Columbo, so maybe next up I will get the entire collection of Poirot. That'd be interesting. All right. is enough for this review. Take care, and as always, I will see you at the movies. Bye.